Shalom. First off, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Baharakadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of GMS who have taught us this word and teach us this word today. And I want to give a salutation unto the elect of the nation of Israel. This is the brother Yatazakbar with the GMS Nebraska camp. And in this lesson, what I want to get into is how, Esau is coming down with great wrath and how we are just in the beginning stages of this. Let's read Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7, which says, "Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it." And what we're seeing are beginning stages of Jacob's trouble. This is why with the deportations and ICE being rolled out, we see that the northern kingdom of the nation of Israel is who is being focused on. We see, the Latino tribes, being focused on. When there are, immigrants of all different nations that are in America, but, only the northern kingdom is really who's being snatched up. That's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence that simultaneously while you have these ICE deportations going on, you also have the National Guard being sent out and going into the hoods, to put it frankly. We see them being sent into DC. We see them being, talks to send them into Chicago and, other major U.S. cities. I believe they said 19 states that they plan to send the National Guard to. And they're sending the National Guard to these states to go into the hoods. It's not like they're just going to be going into the suburbs, into downtown, and into, the nice parts of the city. No, they're going to be going after Jake, the Southern Kingdom, because Trump said it when he first sent out ICE, and he, they were snatching up the Northern Kingdom. He said that homegrowns are next. He said that he wants to get rid of people who was born and raised in the U.S. And we said it then when that headline first came out. Before the headline came out, us prophets said that next they're going to go after Jake. They're going to go after the Negroes, the dark-skinned tribes. They're going to go after the Southern Kingdom, the same way they're going after the Northern Kingdom. And what we're seeing is the beginnings of Jacob's trouble. Now, something that I've seen recently that was, that really stood out to me with these ICE deportations are some statistics. Now, the angle that Trump was taking when he, when he basically put the decree out for these deportations to take place, is that he was doing it to get rid of the worst of the worst. This is his whole angle in sending out the National Guard and sending out ICE. It's to make America a safer place. It's to get rid of the murderers, get rid of the rapists, get rid of, the illegals that are in this country, the Americans, so to speak, or let's, being clear about it, the Jake that are in this country that's making it unsafe, which while you do have, wicked 2/3 amongst our nation who are being, wicked, who are being evil. When you get into these statistics of the ICE deportations, not talking about the National Guard, but specifically speaking about ICE, it says that 70.4 individuals who are held in ICE detention have no criminal record. Now, like Trump said, he's sending out these deportations. He's bringing these people to these concentration camps. Why? To get these worst of the worst individuals out of the streets, to get rid of these people who are making, this country an unsafe place, who are attacking people, who are, snatching up women. But 70% of them have had no criminal record at all. When you get more into that, not over 93% of these people who have been detained have never been convicted of any violent crimes. Yet Trump is saying that this is to make America safer. Yet Trump is saying that this is because these people are dangerous, because they have to be taken out of the streets, because they are the scum, because they're making everything dangerous. But that's when you get into these numbers, that's not the case. And it's clear to see, because it's not like when ICE was snatching these people up to deport them or to send them to these concentration camps, there was no due process. There was no looking into whatever crimes they did. No, it was on site. And we're going to see the same thing going on with Jake, with the National Guard being sent out. Because, hey, there was a recent headline that, now they're saying that the National Guard is going to be armed. They weren't armed before. Before, they were just patrolling the streets, doing searches, checking people out, seeing what type of time they was on. But now they're going to be armed. So they're going to be doing the same thing, but we're going to be seeing them, getting more violent, more heavy on Jake. And it's not going to be no, it's going to come a time where ain't going to be no talking. They just going to be, it's going to be action. Now, what I found interesting about these numbers and the narrative that Trump was speaking, he's making it seem like this is for the betterment of the country, like this is, something that needs to be done. But I want to read Psalm chapter 55, verse 21, which says, "The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords." And while he's making it seem like, this is for the betterment of the country, that this is all this is about, what this really is Esau showing his horns and coming after the nation of Israel, showing that perpetual hatred. And what this is a prerequisite for is the higher levels of Jacob's trouble that we are going to come into very soon. And what I mean by that is that right now, we're just seeing, quote unquote, illegal immigrants being targeted. Jake in the hood outside, smoking, drinking, these different things. But eventually, what Esau wants to do is come after us who are in this truth. And the same angle is going to be used. That's being used about Jake right now, that they're the worst of the worst, that they have to be taken off the streets, that they're dangerous, they're attacking people, they're murderers, they're rapists, all these different things. The same thing is going to be done with us, with the different talking points that we speak about in this truth, the different things we believe. They're going to be twisted. We're going to be painted as terrorists. We're going to be painted as the worst of the worst, like Trump said, as if we're criminals. When, none of us who are in this truth are doing anything violent. None of us who are in this truth are criminals. We got jobs like everybody else. We live our lives like everybody else, but we preach this truth. We preach America's downfall. We're preaching the end of Esau's kingdom and the beginning of the nation of Israel's kingdom afterward. We're preaching the second coming of Yahushua. We're preaching to come out of Esau's, brainwashing and Esau's society, and that's a threat to Esau. So what's going to happen is that we're going to be targeted. We're going to be painted as evil, as terrorists, as the worst of the worst. And the scriptures prophesy it. In 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 70, it says, "For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord." And like I mentioned, the same thing, the same, angle is going to be played against us, that we're evil, that we're, the worst of the worst. Prepare for, our pictures to be put on the news, our pictures to be put up in stores and different things as wanted, like we're really out here doing something. The scriptures say, just like they hated Yahushua, they're going to hate us. And so there's going to come a time where they're going to be snatching us up, where they're going to be looking for us who are out here teaching this word, out here putting these videos on the internet, because Esau's watching. Esau knows, about every single one of us who are putting up these videos, every single one of us who listen to the truth, who believe in what we believe. They watching. They got tabs on all of us. So, we have to prepare our minds for these things. What we're seeing in the news ain't just, this is prophecy taking place. Hey, as the scriptures say, let's grab 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 5, which says, "For like as all that is made in the world had a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest." And that word manifest means to be made clear, or openly visible. And all these prophecies that we read about, everything that we've been preaching for years, is being made openly visible to the eye, but we're in the early stages of it. So just because it's not a threat to us yet, don't mean that that's not coming very soon. Because we're hoping for the end. We pray to the Lord to hasten these times, to hasten the days, but we have to remember that to get to the end, we have to go through the hard times, the straight gate that's required to make it to the end. We have to remember that some of us are going to be thrown in concentration camps, that some of us are going to be faced with death for this word that we preach. We have to remember that what's happening very soon is the MOTB is going to be rolled out. And everything that we see going on with these deportations, with, the National Guard being put on the streets, eventually the MOTB is going to be presented as a solution for the quote unquote all the, the crime, and, all how unsafe America is. They're going to be rolling out the MOTB as a form of, peace and safety, as a form of surveillance. And of course, those of the elect, they're not going to get the MOTB. They're going to strive for the truth unto death. And that's even more going to make the elect seem like criminals, seem like terrorists, seem like evil people. And if we claim that we're going to be on that side, we have to remember this is coming toward us very soon. We're on the outside looking in at everything right now, but eventually we're going to be in that fire, so I just want to put this lesson out real fast. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahawah Chakwadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of GMS, and a salutation unto the elect.